Hello, and welcome back to the King of Diamonds channel. I am your host, Saxon Jenkins, and today is a very special day because we're talking about a very special movie that came out that I had been waiting for a long time to come out. And by a long time, I mean since I was a little child. You see, there is a wonderful book series called the Magic Faraway Tree series, or the Enchanted Wood series, whatever you want to call it. It's a series of books about a group of kids that go to a magic faraway tree and meet colorful characters and have magic adventures. It's very nice, it's very fun, and it always had a very special place in my heart ever since I was a little child. I remember listening to the audiobook of The Enchanted Wood when I was very young, and I would listen to it every night as I was falling asleep, and I actually trained my brain to fall asleep when that was playing, the audiobook. I haven't done that in a long time. I'm curious to know if I put it on again, if the same thing would happen. Probably. I'm willing to bet that it would. So in other words, I really care about the series, and when I heard that a movie was coming out, I was so excited. I was going to make a movie news video about it, but I didn't because I didn't really know what to say. I mean, I haven't read the books in a long time. I just knew that I was excited about it. So going into this film, I was very worried, but I tried my best, and I did push all my worries away and just focus and think, just enjoy it. Just have a good time. If it's not perfect, that's fine. So I saw it, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get right into it. The Magic Faraway Tree is a fantasy adventure movie starring Andrew Garfield, Nicola Colin, I hope I said that right, Claire Foy, Rebecca Ferguson, Simon Farnaby, Nonso Anozie, Billy Gadsden, Jessica Gunning, Jennifer Saunders, Mark Heap, Lenny Henry, Oliver Chris, Claire Keelan, Haren Abby Sakara, I hope I said that right, Phoenix LaRocque, Pippa Bennett Warner, and Dustin Demry Burns. Produced by Neil Street Productions and directed by Ben Gregor. And when I go into this movie, like I said, I pushed my worries away and I decided to just enjoy it and see how I felt about it. And then I can look at it objectively afterwards in this video. Now, whilst I'm not going to act like this movie wasn't without its issues, I definitely had some criticisms that I'll discuss and make clear later on. But just to make it obvious, I had a good time. That's what I wanted to experience watching this movie that I quite literally have wanted for my whole life, pretty much, since I was a very little kid. And the fact that we even got this movie is already enough. Firstly, visually, I'd like to say I was very pleased with this movie. The way they handled the faraway tree was great. It looked nice, it looked pretty, and I was really concerned. Are they going to make this colorful? Yes, it is colorful. Yes, it is saturated. Because in the Magic Faraway Tree books, a bunch of kids, they go up to a Magic Faraway Tree and they meet a bunch of colorful faces like Moonface and Silky and the Saucepan Man. And every day they go up to a new land that is above the tree, and each day the land changes. And I was thinking, okay, how are they going to do the lands? How are they going to depict all these different places? And my goodness, the creative effort that went into these lands, oh goodness, it looked great. All of them were unique. They were so pretty and so colorful, and I just know that any kid that's going to see this movie is going to love it. They're going to love it. The character designs, fantastic. I heard a few people who are a little worried about Moonface's design because in the books he is depicted as having a literal round yellow moon as a face, and in this they haven't done that. That is because if they did, then it would all be CGI and the actor wouldn't be able to express himself through the character, so I'm actually glad they didn't go that route. All the characters looked great, especially Saucepan Man actually was cast perfectly. I remember the way he is illustrated in the books, and he looks quite similar to the illustrations, so I'm very happy about that, and the voice is perfect. Yeah, all the actors for the most part did a fairly decent job. Moonface and Silky respectively also did great. I will admit, with the child actors, especially the youngest of the cast, the main girl, I've forgotten her name, this is not an attack, okay? Because I understand these are kids, and it's hard to find child actors who are really, really, really good. And I will admit, at moments, there was a little bit of awkwardness in the way that she would deliver lines. However, the character is depicted in the film as not talking very often, being quiet kids. So the initial awkwardness of the character expressing herself, the actor not always being the most expressive, doesn't seem to be too much of an issue because of the fact that the character sort of works with that, being shy and such. So I was okay with that, and I was able to get over that. And of course, these actors they're gonna improve as they get older, and I hope that they make more of these movies because there are more books and they can adapt more of them. I'd like them to do that, and we can see the actors get better as they get older. That is not a big issue. The humor of the film is very childish, and that's totally fine. I laughed at some jokes. Some of them I didn't. And of course, we have the canon event that every G-rated film has, which is a fart joke at some point. And I didn't like that. I thought, okay, really? Did you have to do that? But I forgive it because of all the other stuff that makes up for that. One major thing I was hoping for that didn't quite get was I wanted the score of the film to be really good. I wanted a really recognizable score, something orchestral, something that you will associate with the movie. And you know, normally that doesn't happen with a lot of movies, and you have a good score but nothing that really stands out, nothing like Pirates of the Caribbean or, you know, the Harry Potter movies, for instance. However, I noticed that not only was it not memorable with the score, but this music was very, very, very generic. Extremely generic, actually. Basically, like a Hallmark Christmas movie generic music. So that aspect, I will admit, I was actually very disappointed about. I think that's probably my biggest complaint, is that the music was not good at all. They're setting it in the modern era. The books are not set in the modern era. The books are set way, way, way before then. I think they were written in the 1930s. I could be wrong. But I understand the change to make it set in today, tackling the topic of kids using their iPhones and technology too much. They actually handled it quite well. Normally when movies like this tackle that topic, they set it up like they're going to make it a really important point, and then they sort of just throw it away later on and they don't bring it up again. This film did consistently bring up the topic of kids using their technology too much and not using their imagination, and they used it in a way that was consistent with the story, and it all comes around full circle at the end with a little very subtle moment that just I don't want to spoil it, but it's not like any big spoiler, but it is worked into the movie's ending quite well. And what I love about this is the books. Now, they're perfect. I wouldn't change them. But I do understand that adapting a book into a movie, there's going to be changes because not everything in book form will work as a film. The change to make the parents an actual characters in the story, which they weren't really real characters in the books. They weren't too relevant. They appeared, they were present, but they weren't, focused on. The choice to make them a focus point of this movie really worked in the story's favor, especially because if this movie was being carried by the child actors, that may have been a little bit of a jarring experience at times. The choice to have them in there, the adults, the parents, being integral characters, being very important to the storyline, really, really helped, and it was a very good way of grounding the movie and giving the audience something to grapple back onto that was sort of like reality, but still whimsical. I mean, the cutbacks to the adults' crazy ideas and inventing sessions and building sessions in between the adventures of the faraway tree was a really nice touch. It was a good way of showing the progression of time. There was a plot point, however, that I thought was a little awkward. The topic of the grandma character who comes in, I thought it was going somewhere different. They didn't really pay off what they set up with that. I thought that at the end it didn't really come full circle the way that I thought it would. I think if they're going to make more movies, then they can take some of these topics that weren't fully recognized and then they can refine it. Where Moonface and Andrew Garfield, the father, I was really scared because in that moment when they finally meet up again, I thought, are they going to do that thing where they're like, "Hello, it's me again." and then they'll have like an embrace and it'll be this big conversation. And I didn't want that. And thank God they didn't do that. They made it so they didn't say anything directly to each other. And Moonface said something, but not to him. Sort of to himself in a way, but it's hard to explain. It was subtle. They felt each other's presence without fully acknowledging that the other was there. And when he looks up, I actually teared up a bit. Gonna be honest. That scene was the best one in the whole movie. It was handled so well. I wish there was more of that in the movie, but I have faith that these films, if there are more, will progressively improve. If you're looking for a movie to take your children to this week, this is the movie to take them to. It's going to be a good time. It's a nice time, and it might influence them to think outside the box when they're having fun and choose to go outside instead of playing with technology and such. So, I will be giving The Magic Faraway Tree a fairly decent 7 out of 10. I know, I wanted to give it higher. The only reason why I didn't is because I'm trying to remove my bias from the movie because I have my own expectations for it. I'm going to buy the Blu-ray. I'm going to support this movie, and I hope that they make more, and then I can see them get better. And that's going to be really nice. So, Magic Faraway Tree is a movie, and it does exist, and you can watch it. Anyway, bye!